What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Welcome to Odds.com's NFL Opening Lines Early Leans show. Happy Tuesday, December 29th to all of you. A couple days left in the year, and we are running hot. I'm running so hot in every other sport. NFL finally joined. I went 9-5 this week. Would it be 9-3 if I didn't believe in that Le'Veon Bell? But I'll take it. 9-5 plus 3.25 units. Bebsy, you went 7-9, down 3.15 units. You're still up 4.12 units on the year, 88-73. Still having a strong season. How did you feel about? We'll review everything, but how did you feel about last week's action?
A little bit frustrating at times, but that's how she goes, buddy. Ups and downs, and it's what are you gonna do?
Yeah. It's a roller coaster ride. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. We got Nuke Worker in the house. John Schwartz coming to us live from Vegas. Marlon Z ready to go. Lee Fedorchak, Mr. Fun Monk ready to go. And there's our guy Slats. I was thinking about you this week, Slats. I couldn't reach out to you on Twitter, but was thinking about you. Congrats on winning the Survivor pool. That's a couple of us now, man. We're taking cash, man. We're taking cash. Congratulations, Mr. Fung Monk in the house. DX Filer, Nick B, David Sharp, Ron Burgundy, JT. Thank you guys all for joining us. There's Trotwham in the house. Trotwham, we're having a gorgeous start to our NBA night. My man, Trotwham, our NBA expert in the house. We have Prince of the City here rolling with us as well. Let's get to work. And thank you for joining us with NS Picks here in the house as well.
I'm starting to think Prince has got a crush on me. He seems to be very concerned with what I wear, shirt sizes. It's getting weird, Prince. It's getting weird.
Okay, Let's review last week's action and then attack this week. A lot of moving parts to this week. I have already made 2 bets. I think the Jets win their 3rd straight game this week. So I'm on the Jets first half full game. Got plus 2.5 first half, plus 3 full game, minus 105 on each. But let's talk about the week that was. Buccaneers first half team total over 16.5 cash. Buccaneers full game team total over 32.5 cash. Cardinals first half -3 was a loser. Packers -3 winner. Bills first half -4 winner. Bills full game -7 winner. Le'Veon Bell over 56.5 rush yards loss. Jalen Hurts over 55.5 rush yards win. Baltimore New York Giants under 43.5 win. Giants team total under 16.5 win. Le'Veon Bell over 19.5 receiving yards loss. Jalen Hurts touchdown loss. Eagles team total over 26.5 loss. And Aaron Jones over 69.5 rush yards cash. 9-5. We'll go over Bebsy 7-9 very quickly. Your early looks: Rams plus 2.5, Eagles -1 did not come through. Dolphins -2.5 was a loss. Browns -9.5 loss. You cashed on the Colts first half -0.5. You lost on the Colts full game. You lost on Washington -2. But your props, as always, came through for you. Kyler Murray over 44.5 rush yards cash. Derrick Henry over 105.5 rush yards didn't. Montgomery over 81.5 rush yards cash. Jalen Hurts over 55.5 rush yards cash. Jonathan Taylor over 53.5 rush yards cash. Tyreek Hill over 67.5 receiving yards did not cash. Logan Thomas, I just hate on this Logan Thomas train. I still haven't bet him once. Over 47.5 receiving yards cash. And then Le'Veon Bell over 20.5 receiving yards loss. Travis Kelce over 80.5 receiving yards cash. That was the week that was. We got Dylan Turner in the house. Christian Larson. I say it is time to attack this card, Bebsy. And week 17 is very tricky. And I'm going to be and Not Flash On says you were 1 inch away from Hurts TD when he stepped out. Yes. Yeah, could have been an even more glorious week. But let's get to work, Bebsy. We're going to start. We're going down the rotation numbers for anyone who is following along with us. So we are starting with the Giants. Get there, Oklahoma State, for the love of. We're starting with Dallas, New York Giants. Dallas opens up at -2.5. They're now -3. This total's dropped from 47 down to 45, down to 44.5. Cowboys 6-9, 2-5 on the road. The Giants 5-10, 2-5 at home. MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. 43 Fahrenheit showers. 9 miles per hour. Dallas coming off their 3rd straight win, a big 37-17 home win over the Eagles. They're smashing watermelons before every game, like Gallagher, and it's working, surprisingly. Dallas had the fourth 500-yard game of the season, their fourth, 514 total yards against the Eagles. Now the winner of this game can win the division if Washington loses at Philadelphia in primetime. Washington just needs to win to advance. Andy Dalton, 22 of 30, 377 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's 4-4 as the starter. Michael Gallup caught 6 passes for 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. Amari Cooper caught 4 passes for 121 yards. The receiving trio of Cooper, Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb is on a 7-game streak of at least 1 touchdown receiving. They've got 10 in that span, and the Cowboys are 4-3 in those games. Zeke ran 19 times for 105 yards, second 100-yard game of the season, dealing with the calf issue. The defense gave up more than 450 yards for the second week in a row, but they're still doing okay. They avoided giving up the most points per game at home in NFL history. They finished at 34.4. The expansion Cowboys of 1960 share the record with the Detroit Lions of 2008 and 1948 Giants at 36.5. Randy Gregory, after not seeing him for a while, he's been good. Another sack and a half, 3 forced fumbles. Sean Lee, 11 started the season. He played fewer snaps than his backup, Joe Thomas. Jalen Smith played all 73. Thomas was in for 58%. Lee just 41%. Safety Darian Thompson is in concussion protocol. Defensive tackle Antoine Woods was placed on injured reserve. And Zach Martin, their extremely important guard, may return this week. As says Rob Phillips, he says, we'll see how he does this week. Obviously, make a decision that's in his best interest and our best interest here as we see how he works for the week. Safety Xavier Woods, linebacker Leighton Vander Esch, and cornerback Rashard Robinson are all questionable. Let's start with the Cowboys, Bebsy. Do you believe in them this week? Are you going to back them this week?
I'm probably not going to back them, but I think it's a smart play. I think they'll come out playing because they still have a chance to win this division, which is insane. Then again, so do the Giants. It is a wild, wild ride in the NFC least. But I do think Dallas is probably just a little bit hotter right now. At least they know who's their quarterback. If I'm the Giants right now, I don't know who my quarterback is. I don't know who my quarterback is next year. I don't know who my quarterback is to end this season because Daniel Jones has not been good since he's been back. And obviously Colt McCoy's not much of an answer. So I don't know. I think if they play a smart, basic game, which is exactly what Mike McCarthy is all about, I think they have a chance here.
They certainly have a chance. Giants are not playing good football.
No.
Coming off a 27-13 loss at Baltimore. They were down 20-3 at the half. Baltimore outrushed New York 249-54. Outgained them 432-269. Had 10 minutes more possession time. Went 8 for 11 on third down compared to 1 for 10 for the Giants. Daniel Jones, 24-41, 252 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Sterling Shepard led receivers with 9 catches for 77 yards. They could not move the ball on the ground, running 12 times for 54 yards. Graham Gano tied a franchise record with his 29th consecutive successful field goal. Golden Tate, inactive with a calf injury, is listed as questionable this week. So is Evan Ingram. Kyler Fackrell remains on IR. I think that 40-ounce beer belly dude says Giants tank to get the number 3 pick in the draft, which is available, by the way, the number 3 pick in the draft. I mean, it feels like a Cowboys spot, but I'm hesitant to trust them. What do you think of this total going all the way down to 44.5?
Yeah, I mean, I can't expect either team to put up a ton of points, so I get why it would be low, but
these Cowboys are allowing 400-plus yards every time out. You don't think the Giants can move the ball against them?
I don't know who the Giants can move the ball against, period, right now. Yeah, here's a get-right spot for your offense, I suppose, facing a terrible Dallas defense. But I don't know. Daniel Jones is just likely to put up points on his own team right now. So if the Giants – if Dallas's D was a little bit better, I'd like the over just because I'd assume they're going to get some takeaways. But I don't know. This is I think I would probably lean over with it being this low, but I don't have a strong feeling about it. Do you?
I had a horror show 3 years ago on week 17, and I actually ended up going 8-0 in wildcard week after it. But I'll never forget what happened on week 17 that year, and I'm very hesitant to make many moves here. I don't want to sit here and get too excited about spots. I'm already doubling up on the Jets. But if I had a free play, I would certainly take the Dallas Cowboys. It just feels like they are rolling. They have momentum.
I mean, they're 3 wins straight, but 3 wins against bad/injured teams. So,
but big wins. I mean, they're not just barely winning these games. That was a nice, comfortable win over the Eagles. A nice, comfortable win over the Niners.
And the Eagles came out and looked great. Like, for the first quarter, I looked like a genius being bullish on the Eagles. And then the Eagles did what the Eagles do.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think the Cowboys are the play. I mean, at 2.5, I don't know. I certainly like the coaching better on the other side of the ball.
You got a good point, Slats. The Giants are a bad injured team, so why not? Like, I do think it's the Cowboys are going to win this game. I really do. I just think, like you said, Jimmy, they're playing better right now. I've got no reason to back the Giants. One team is playing good football coming into this. The other team is playing bad football. And it almost feels like Dallas, even though they both technically can get into the playoffs here, it feels like Dallas is playing for something, whereas the Giants have accepted that their season is over. Even though, technically speaking, it isn't.
Yeah, a banged-up Giant squad, struggling. Cowboys moving the ball, believing in themselves. Just feels like a Cowboy spot. I'm sure they're going to be extremely public bet this week. I could check that out. Prince of the City says, shouldn't the Eagles have moved the ball more? Yeah, I guess the Cowboys are the spot here. I just know it's going to be so public. Let me just get an idea of what this is. I enjoy so much fading the Cowboys, and I hesitate to want to have anything to do with them. But let's check out where the money is right now. Here we go. The Cowboys only have 56% of the cash and 81% of the tickets. So some big bets have been made on the Giants. Well, I'll just leave that as a lean. We can circle back at the end of the show. All right. Prince of the City said Bucks are giving the Heat a revenge smackdown. Yeah, I'm on the first half full game. I was so caught up in football, though, I was waiting for the first quarter Raptors to come out, and I never bet it. But that would have cashed as well. What a start we're having in the NBA. Okay, Cowboys, Giants. We'll move over. Nuke Worker says too early to worry about where the money is now, in my opinion. I don't know, Nuke, because this is where you can tell that there's sharp money on the Giants at this point. If there's 81% of the tickets on the Cowboys and only 56% of the cash. John Schwartz tailed me on that first half and took the Raps first quarter. Good work, John. At least I can make somebody cash here on that spot. Okay, we move on. Move on to Steelers-Browns. That is next up. Browns opened up as 7-point favorites. That quickly moved to 10 and 10.5. The leading indicator books moved to 10.5. It's totaled at 41 now, 42.5. Steelers snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 20-24 win at home over the Colts, clinched the AFC North division out. We'll talk about that in a sec, but FirstEnergy Stadium, Cleveland, Ohio, 37 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 12 miles per hour. So the wind and temperature is not that bad. Steelers 12-3, 5-2 on the road. Browns 10-5, 5-2 at home. Steelers were outgained 206-28 in the first half. Then they outscored the Colts 21-0 with the final 8 minutes and 16 seconds. Tomlin has said Roethlisberger will not play this weekend. Mason Rudolph is getting the start in Cleveland. And he said that he's going to be resting more starters, but as of now, he's only named Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger looked great, 34-49, 342 yards, 3 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Juju Smith-Schuster led receivers with 9 catches for 96 yards. Deontay Johnson, 8 catches for 75 yards. Their running game stalled again. 14 carries for 20 yards as a team. Marcus Allen, linebacker Marcus Allen, and Oluoksanmi Adeniyi. Place kicker Chris Boswell, running back Anthony McFarland-Wallace is questionable. Linebacker Ulysses Gilbert was placed on the injured reserve. Ron Burgundy got the Browns at -6. Great job. What do you think about these Steelers here as giant dogs? This is a very dangerous game to bet on, especially if we're late to the party like we are. Do you have any interest in the Steelers or Browns here?
No, I think you said it right. I mean, kudos to Ron Burgundy for getting in there at -6. Don't have any interest to bet it now. I'd like to know who else isn't playing for the Steelers. You'd have to figure he's going to rest Watt. After losing Dupree and Bush, I don't think you can. I don't think you can risk losing another player like that out of your defensive front. So you got to figure Watt is down, but I don't know how many other guys they're going to want to sit in this. So, I mean, I think it's at this stage at -10. I think you have to take the Steelers just because it could end up being, a pride fight for the Steelers backups, but. Really tough spot. Again, kudos to anybody who got in early on this, but David Sharp had a look at the under in this. I think that could be a play just because we know the Steelers aren't going to put up many points. And if the Browns don't have to, I figure they don't put the ball up much. So I think this under is the only look here and now.
I agree. That makes sense. Dan Kelly says they say Wyatt Teller will play. Let's go over everything. Browns coming off 23-16 loss to the Jets. Baker Mayfield 28-53, 285 yards. 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, playing without his top 4 receivers due to COVID issues. He fumbled the ball 3 times, losing 2. He was very hard on himself after the game. Austin Hooper, tight end, led receivers with 7 catches for 71 yards. Browns hope to get everyone back from the COVID restrictive list this week. So that's linebacker B.J. Goodson, wide receivers Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Kadero Hodge, linebacker Jacob Phillips, and rookie left tackle Jedrick Wills. They couldn't move the ball on the ground. That's the first time we've seen that, but that's just because the box is getting loaded up because they were daring Baker to throw to these newbies. They rushed 18 times for 45 yards. Sheldon Richardson blocked an extra point and a field goal attempt, credited with a team-high 10 tackles. Linebacker Tay Davis and Sean Takataki left with ankle injuries, didn't return. Both are listed as questionable. And Stefanski hopeful that Wyatt Teller will play. Center Nick Harris day-to-day with a knee injury. I like reading that, David Sharp. God, it's just okay. I don't want to talk about how glorious things have been because they keep it quiet, take the money, talk about it too much, it goes away. Well, no move for me here, Bebsy, and I could understand the look to the under, but if the game gets sloppy, if there was an under look, in all honesty, I would take it first half. I would prefer it first half. I don't want to be sitting there if the game just if it's clear the Steelers don't care.
Yeah, first half is sitting at 22, 21 and a half, 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be the play here. First half under. I'm going to take that.
Yeah. Oh, you are going to take that? Okay.
I am going to take that.
All right, let me pull it up for you at odds.com, the odds page here. See what we are dealing with. Here we go. We want a first half total. And let's go. All right. Wow. Let's see if they're not very good. You're getting – but I guess we have the Bet365 is giving you 22 at -120 because BetMGM is giving you 21.5 at -120. And BetRivers is giving you 21.5 at -117. So let me just get Circa up here and see if they can do anything with this here. Let's go. Here we go. Circa Sports, Nevada, Colorado. We'll bet in Colorado. And here we go. Okay. Football. we're going to look for a first half here in this Browns-Steelers spot, and it is 21.5 as well. So, yeah, I get it. Okay, I think that makes sense. First half under 22 at minus 120 at bet 365 for Bebsy. And I think this makes sense. I expect to be coming with you here. Again, I don't want to have too much action, but I expect to be coming with you here.
No, all right, it's going to be a I don't know. I'm probably going to stick with my props this week just because that's all that's been working for me lately. And again, it's hard to have a ton of action in Week 17.
It's very dangerous. It's funny. On Week 17, there'll be a couple spots that are blatant. And you really got to try and keep it to that. And I'm sitting here thinking that this is one of them. Jets, Patriots. Jets can finish the season winning 3 straight.
I think they do. I was looking at this before, and I was like, I kind of like that look.
I doubled up first half plus 2.5 minus 105, full game plus 3 minus 105. We're in Gillette Stadium, Foxboro, Massachusetts, 40 Fahrenheit. Chances of showers, 9 miles per hour. And for me in this spot, I just see a Jets team that's trying. This opened up at 3.5, quickly moved to 3. This total opened up at 41, is now at 39.5. I'm also interested in the Jets team total over. The Jets are coming off their second straight win, 23-16 at home over the Browns. Clinched second overall pick in April's draft. Sam Darnold was 16-32 for 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They ran 34 times for 131 yards as a team. Jamison Crowder caught 7 passes for 92 yards, 1 touchdown, and threw a 43-yard touchdown pass to Braxton Berrios. The defense caused Mayfield to fumble 3 times, and picked up 2 of them. Offensive lineman Josh Andrews left with a groin injury. He's listed as questionable. Frank Gore dealing with a lung contusion. He's been ruled out. And cornerback Javelin Guidry is listed as questionable. It's not the Jets as much as it's the Patriots that I want to fade. And Patriots are in a short rest and prep after their ugly 38-9 loss in New England. Cam Newton was just 5 of 10 for 34 yards. He did run 4 times for 24 yards and a touchdown. Was pulled for Jarrett Stidham, who is no better. Threw 4 for 11 for 44 yards. Newton's 34 yards passing are the fewest by a Patriots starting quarterback since 1993. Belichick said he hasn't made any decisions about who will start the Patriots finale, but that was earlier. Later, it said he's going to go back with Newton. Jacoby Myers was their leading receiver with 4 catches for 45 yards. Sony Michel ran 10 times for 69 yards. Patriots struggled to move the ball. Damian Harris, second straight game out with an ankle injury. The Bills destroyed them. This defense missing linebacker Jawan Bentley, defensive tackle Lawrence Guy to shoulder injuries. They both remain questionable. Patriots allowed a season worst 474 yards overall, and they lost a bunch of players during the game. Defensive end Tashawn Bauer left in the first quarter with a neck injury. Josh Yuki, linebacker, exited in the second quarter with a foot injury. Linebacker Trez Hall left in the third quarter with an ankle injury. Safety Devin McCourty left with a shoulder injury in the third quarter. Right guard Shaq Mason exited in the third quarter with a foot injury. They're all listed as questionable this week. Stephon Gilmore done for the season. Julian Edelman is not going to come back and finish this game. So this is me fading the Patriots. Bebsy, take it away. What's your take here? Jets, Patriots.
I mean, I pretty much agree with you, with the exception that I think if Stidham plays, if he's the starter in this one, I think that would be enough for me to keep it off it. Just because, as bad as Stidham is, I feel like, I mean, this guy would probably be playing for a future in the NFL. Whereas I'm not so sure. I mean, what do the Jets care about at this point? You've won 2. You've lost the Lawrence sweepstakes. I just think Stidham is enough of a wild card for me to want to stay out of it. So before I make a play on this game, I want to know who's starting. And if it's Cam, good chance I'm going to double up on this game and take the Jets first half in full game. But I need to know who's starting. I really do. And so I can't make a move until then.
I think I may add the team total here. Newkirk said Stidham is not his guy. Yeah, I can't quote it because I just got so much football in my mind right now. But I did read somewhere today that he's expected to go back to Cam. And if he goes back to Cam, I don't see Cam finishing the game. I see Stidham coming at some point.
No, and Newkirker saying Hoodie already said Stidham is not his guy. All the more reason why Stidham would be showcasing here. Like, if he knows he's not the guy in New England, he's got to try and show another team that he's worthy of at least a backup role somewhere. So that's my quandary with him starting. But I agree with you, Jimmy. If Cam comes in, he just seems to not give a shit right now.
I honestly don't think it matters. I think that the Jets are having fun out there, and the Patriots want their season to end. So I'm comfortable here with Jets first half full game, and I've already bet it. So that's the only thing I've already bet. Let's move on to Vikings Lions. That is next up. Vikings Lions. Let's see what we are dealing with here. Lions have just come out of a few books because of the unknown of Stafford. Vikings opened up at -6.5. They're now 6.5 or 7. This total at 54.5. Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan. Vikings 6-9, 3-4 on the road. Lions 5-10, 1-6 at home. Vikings are on extra rest after losing 52-33 at New Orleans on Christmas night. Minnesota eliminated from playoff contention while allowing the most points by any Vikings team since 1963. Whew. Saints never punted. Set a record for yards gained by a Vikings opponent with 583. Their defense was torched by Alvin Kamara, who ran for 155 yards, 6 touchdowns. Vikings have allowed the 5th most rushing yards in the league this season. Defensive tackles Shamar Stephen and Jaleel Johnson are just, overwhelmed. Zimmer has said that Minnesota's lost 6 linebackers, 3 defensive linemen, 3 cornerbacks, and a safety from the start of the year. Vikings defense allowing 29.3 points per game, 5th highest in the league. First-round pick Jeff Gladney out of TCU missed 3 tackles, and Breeze completed every pass that went into his coverage area. And then we had this, Blake Lynch, undrafted rookie from Baylor, promoted from the practice squad 3 weeks ago, and team-high 10 tackles. People chanting Rudy, I'm guessing. He's the 7th different player to start a linebacker for the Vikings this season. Cousins, 27-41 for 291 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Dalvin Cook ran 15 times for 73 yards. Adam Thielen had his first good game since COVID, 8 catches for 97 yards. Kyle Rudolph missed his 3rd straight game. Eric Kendricks, calf, out for the 4th game in a row. They have 7 guys that were inactive, and they're all fighting injuries. Those 2, linebacker Todd Davis, running back Alexander Mattison, fullback C.J. Ham, linebacker Troy Dye, defensive end Jalen Holmes. And I don't expect any of them to come back and play. And Cameron Dantzler suffered an undisclosed injury, another cornerback. He's listed as questionable. I agree with Prince of the City completely and totally here. Whose backups are better? I would stay far away from this meaningless game. This is the type of spot that I want nothing to do with. Can you shed some light in this spot, Bebsy?
I mean, I'm with you and Prince here. I don't know how you bet on this game. There's going to be so many guys on either roster that we just don't even know who they are for this game. So how do you bet on guys you know nothing about? Who's going to step up? Both teams have been just abysmal. The Vikings, at least for a portion of the season, looked like they had a shot. But yeah, this is just complete and total stay away game. Maybe if you recognize some names come Sunday, throw down some prop bets in this one. But as far as lines, I can't get a good look one way or another.
Lions coming off that extremely ugly 47-7 loss at home to Tampa. Robert Prince handled the coaching duties after Darrell Bevel was sidelined by COVID-19 protocols. Lions allowed 588 yards, 2nd highest total in team history, highest in a regulation game. Lions have held only one team to fewer than 363 yards. That was Jacksonville 2 months ago. They're allowing 413.9 yards per game. Stafford lasted for 3 passes before leaving with an ankle injury. This guy wants to start every game, so I expect him to start again. Chase Daniel went 13-86 for 86 yards. David Blau came in 6-10 for 49 yards. Reminded me of a Thanksgiving a couple years ago. Blau out there. Lions were 1 for 10 on 3rd down. DeAndre Swift ran 10 times for 45 yards. Danny Amendola led receivers 5 catches for 37 yards. Jamal Agnew has been so good on special teams. He kept them from being shut out. Returned a punt for 74 yards and a touchdown. Joe Dahl, their guard dealing with back injury list, is questionable. And center Frank Ragnow, Linebacker Jamie Collins, offensive tackle Tyrell Crosby, wide receiver Kenny Golladay remain questionable to play. Look, I mean, Bebsy, Slat says, Bebsy, your last chance to sneak on an NFL roster.
I can kick. I can punt. I'll punt for them. I can do this.
Yeah, Sebastian Cornwell, thinking about the under. I mean, these two defenses have been horrible. 54.5.
It is pretty high, yeah. 54.5. I mean, if this is all backups playing, could go one way or another. It could be offenses that are just completely inept, or it could be nobody. You feel like in games like this where it doesn't matter, a lot of guys who know that they still have a job next year, they make business decisions left, right, and center. You see poor tackling in these games, which obviously leads to huge points, which is probably why this total is so high. But I get why the under is appealing, but again, just too many unknowns with two garbage teams that aren't going to play a lot of starters.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with it. Let's move on to the next spot on the card.
Before we do, Jimmy, I'm going to jump in on the Jets' first half here.
Okay.
I'm going to go back one game. I hate that I'm putting money with the Jets, but I just can't. I can't see them. You're right. They're having fun right now, and if Cam's starting this game, which I think JT said they are, I just like the Jets coming out hot.
It's plus 2.5, minus 115 at BetMGM, but we know that Bet365 is hanging at plus 2.5 and minus 105. Let's just see if that's still being hung just in case. The New York Jets. Yeah, plus 2.5, minus 105 at Bet365. Yeah, it makes sense. I was actually hoping that'd be my only thing on this card, but I do think that under 22 is interesting. But I'm trying so hard not to have too much action. I have these nightmares of that week 17. Sorry, where are we here? Here we go. So I'm already on first half full game. Bebsy's coming in on first half plus 2.5, minus 105. I get it. All right, we roll on. We roll on to Falcons. Buccaneers is the next on the docket. Atlanta opening up as 6-point dogs. That's moved to 6.5. It's still opened up at 50. It's now at 50.5. Raymond James Stadium, Tampa Bay, Florida. Falcons 4-11, 2-5 on the road. Buccaneers 10-5, 4-3 at home. 62 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 11 miles per hour is the wind. Falcons coming off tough 17-14 loss to Kansas City. Young Ho Koo pushed a 39-yard attempt wide right. Guy is a Pro Bowler. I don't remember I don't have in front of me how many he kicked straight, but over 30. They had a chance to take the Super Bowl champions to overtime. They've lost 4 straight, all by 5 points or fewer. Matt Ryan, 27-35, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Calvin Ridley keeps doing it. 5 catches for 130 yards. Ito Smith ran 10 times for 46 yards. Defensive tackle Marlon Davidson, center Alex Mack, wide receiver Julio Jones, guard James Carpenter, cornerback Darquez Denard are all listed as questionable to go this week. Buccaneers coming off the 47-7 beatdown of the Lions in Detroit. I doubled up on the team totals. It was nice. Bucs set a franchise record of 588 yards. Brady is throwing a franchise record 36 touchdowns. He set a personal record with 348 yards passing in the first half. He was 22-27, 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in one half. They rested him in the second half with a 34-0 lead. Blaine Gabbert came in, looked pretty good, 9-15, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns. Keshawn Vaughn led the running backs for 62 yards, 15 carries. Mike Evans got 10 passes for 181 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Bruce Arians hopeful that Ronald Jones will come off reserve COVID list, suit up against the Falcons. Safety Mike Edwards hurt his hip during the game, didn't return, listed as questionable. Cornerback Carlton Davis inactive with a groin injury, listed as questionable. Nuke Worker says, who thinks Brady will play? Not me. Who thinks Brady will play? Not me, says Nuke Worker. Charles Garrity, thank you for the kind words. Falcons, Buccaneers, take it away, Bebsy.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Nuke on this one. I don't know if Brady's going to start this game. I think probably wise to rest him at this point. And look, they're really starting to click. So, look, I can't see them risking putting Brady out there in this game. So it's hard to back them. As bad as the Falcons have been, this is still a team that is capable of putting up points. But again, another one of those games where it's just like, who's playing? How do I get interested in this game? Well, it's probably going to come down to prop betting on Sunday, but I don't have a look either way on this one.
Yeah, Falcons are playing okay. I was thinking maybe. I mean, we're sitting here with what is the exact situation of Tampa right now? So their spot is up for grabs, right? So they've clinched the playoffs. They're at 10-5. Saints are at 11-4. I think the Saints have that heads up between the two. That was early in I can't even remember.
Well, the Saints smashed them on Monday night.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Saints have head-to-head.
Yeah. So, do they have anything to play for at all? I don't think they do. I don't think they have anything to play for, because the Rams could end up 10-6 and tie with the Bucs 10-6.
Ooh, the Rams are in a tough spot this week.
So Tampa has nothing. Okay, Gerald Jones says Tampa is at the 5, can move down to the 6. So, because Matt Ryan is closing out the season pretty strong, so I would have some interest in his passing yard props. He seems to be slinging all over the field. Ron Walsack says Arians wants to secure 5th spot with a win. Stronger man, Ron Walsack.
But wouldn't 6 have them up against the Saints?
Oh, Gerald Jones is right. The 5 plays the NFC East winner. Oh, that is important. Okay, good call. Good call, Gerald and Ron. Thank you, guys. Okay, interesting. So, okay, no move for me. Any feel on this total, Bebsy, that's sitting at 50.5?
I mean, I would probably lean over in this just because of what both of these offenses can do. But, again, it's a really tough call. I agree with Prince. I think because of the fact that this offense has been gelling lately, I think you will see Brady for at least a portion of this game. But if he's not playing the whole game,
it's important to get that 5th spot. Extremely important.
Yeah.
Hugely important, don't you think? I mean, you're almost guaranteeing yourself a playoff victory.
Well, you never know. I mean, I think Washington with Alex Smith could possibly do some upsetting in the playoffs. I don't think any other team in that division can, except for Washington, because of that defense. But
yeah,
I'm staying off this game. Might look at some prop looks for it come Sunday, especially like you mentioned, some Falcons props. Matt Ryan maybe playing his last game in a Falcons uni. Who knows? Feel like there's going to be a big quarterback carousel this offseason.
Okay, let's move on to Ravens-Bengals. That's next up on the dock at 1 p.m. Eastern. Ravens open up as 11.5 point favorites. That moves to 13. This total opens up at 44. It's now at 45. Paul Brown Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio. 42 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 7 miles per hour. Ravens 10-5, 5-2 on the road. Bengals 4-10-1, 3-4 at home. Ravens coming off 27-13 home victory over the Giants. They were up 20-3 at the half. Outrushed New York 249-54. 432 yards. The Giants 269. 10 more minutes of possession, 8 for 11 on third down compared to 1 for 10 for the Giants. Jackson was 17-26, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He also ran 13 times for 80 yards. 10-0 lifetime as a starter against NFC teams. Baltimore 13-2 in December since the start of the 2018 season. Jackson is 12-1 in that month, 11 straight wins. Gus Edwards ran 15 times for 85 yards. J.K. Dobbins ran 11 times for 77 yards. And then he hurt himself at the end of that game. I don't have him on the I'll double-check the injury report. Mark Andrews led receivers with 16 catches for 76 yards. Ravens had 6 sacks. Jones was, on the run throughout. Center Patrick McCarry left with a back injury. He's questionable. Defensive end Yannick Ngakoue suffered a thigh injury. And cornerbacks Marcus Peters and Jimmy Smith were inactive. They're both listed as questionable, but there's no point to bring them back. Bengals are coming back off their second straight win, 37-31 at the Texans. First road win for Zach Taylor in the second year. First time the Bengals have won away from Cincinnati since September 30th, 2018. Brandon Allen returned after missing last week's game with a knee injury for a career-high 371 yards, 29-37, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. T. Higgins caught 6 passes for 99 yards. Alex Erickson caught 6 passes for 88 yards. Samaje Perine ran 13 times for 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. Giovanni Bernard had a giant takes. He ran 16 times for 65 yards, caught 7 passes for 66 yards. Joe Mixon's not coming back for Week 17. Cornerback William Jackson sustained a concussion. He's in concussion protocol. Linebacker Logan Wilson, linebacker Jordan Evans, wide receiver Tyler Boyd, and center B.J. Finney are all listed as questionable. Any move that interests you here, Bebsy, Ravens, Bengals?
I mean, a little bit of interest in the Bengals here just because of the points you can get with them. But it's got to be a bit of a laydown spot for them. And like you said, there's not much reason to rush back starters for the Ravens too. So, yeah, I don't know. Free play, I'm going to take the Bengals. But again, it's too much uncertainty for me to really lay money on these spreads right now.
Wow. What a giant night I'm about to have. Holy shit. Everything's coming in. Woo! The Ravens have to win. I get that. I certainly don't really want anything to do with this. Intex says Vegas record of $61.5 million in wins for the month of November. Ravens, Bengals here. I don't want any of this.
I mean, I agree with Ron Burgundy. There's the last couple of weeks where we're like, oh, we can't touch that. It's way too high. The Ravens have come out and absolutely kicked the shit out of their opponents. So,
yeah, and the Ravens look very strong. And if there was a future bet that I think has value, it would be them. But I would like to know that Marcus Peters and Jimmy Smith are going to be back come playoff time. I'm certainly going to be betting them every week. Let's move on to the Dolphins, Bills, Orchard Park, New York. That's next up. Rotation number 123, 124. Bills open up as 3.5-point favorites. The books are all over the place right now. Anywhere between 3 and 4.5. Is that real? That big of a difference? And there's a 1. The Bills are 1-point favorites at Bet365. They're 1-point favorites. A pick 'em at Sports Interaction. Thank you, MJ, my friend. Thank you. So that tells me that, well, let's break it down. 34 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 8 miles per hour. Could there really be 4 points of difference? That just doesn't make any sense. Let's do a little line shopping here on odds.com and see if this is actually that big of a difference. I'd be shocked. Yeah, it's all down to 1 or 1.5. Those 4.5s are gone. Okay, 34 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 8 miles per hour. Dolphins 10-5, 5-2 on the road. Bills 12-3, 6-1 at home. Dolphins coming off the big 26-25 win in Vegas. Tagovailoa 17-22 for 94 yards, 1 touchdown. Threw for an average of 4.3 yards. A completion through 3 quarters was pulled. Fitzmagic came in for the fourth quarter, saved the day, 9 of 13, 182 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Fitzpatrick led 3 scoring drives in the fourth quarter for Miami, with the final one. I mean, it was so wild. Raiders bypassed the gimme touchdown for the field goal. And I would love to see what the percentages were. Dolphins became the second team in the past 20 years to take over that deep in their own territory in the final 30 seconds when trailing and drive for the winning score. Green Bay did it to Detroit 5 years ago on that desperation pass. I'm sure we all remember, to Richard Rodgers. Dolphins can clinch a wildcard berth with a win next week at Buffalo. Fitzmagic hasn't made the playoffs in his 16-year career, but Tagovailoa is starting. Gaskin ran 14 times for 85 yards, caught 5 passes for 82 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jakeem Grant left in the second half with a high ankle sprain. He's listed as doubtful. Grant won't be there. Linebacker Landon Roberts was taken off on a stretcher with a knee injury. He's listed as questionable. Defensive end Shaq Lawson, wide receiver Devontae Park, and guard Solomon Kinley are listed as questionable. Nuke, I've got 34 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 8 miles per hour. I mean, it's hard to know now, but the weather is saying that the snow will stop before the game starts. But I got to check the weather before you bet. What do you think of these Dolphins here playing the Bills when the Bills don't have much to play for?
Yeah, the Bills can't move up or down right now, can they?
I'm going to double check on that right now, but I believe that there's – here we go. Well, if the Steelers lose – or no, I mean if they want that number 2 seed, which I'm sure they do. I guess they're hoping the Steelers lose, because then they'll end up 13-3, and the Steelers will be 12-4.
But those games are playing at the same time, are they not?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's got to be Bills here, because the Bills want to lock up too. And if the Steelers aren't playing their starters, if Big Ben isn't playing,
yeah. Bills coming off that easy 38-9 win at New England, swept the season series over the Patriots for the first time since '99. 474 yards they put on the Patriots were the most New England has given up all year. Josh Allen, 27, 36, 320 yards, 4 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs, 9 catches for 145 yards. This was interesting. He became the 3rd player in the 51-year history of the AFC East to get 110 receptions, 1,400 yards. Wes Welker in 2011, Marvin Harrison, 1999. Back in the day. They rushed for 31 times for 130 yards as a team. Wide receiver John Brown was activated from injured reserve Monday, but has now been placed on COVID reserve. TJ Yeldon placed on COVID reserve. Tight end Reggie Gilliam is listed as questionable. Yeah, this is Gerald Jones says Tua starting with a short hook. This is something I don't want much to do with this game. Is there anything that interests you here? This total's dropped 3 points down to 44.5.
I mean, I lean Bills, but again, if they don't have too much to play for, then how do you back them? But also, if Tua is starting, why is Tua still starting? Like, just let him sit. He shouldn't have seen the field this year. He should have just sat behind Fitzy all year, learn, get him ready for next year. Flores has done a lot of things right. I don't think he's done right by Tua, because you've already yanked him twice already. That's bad for his rookie mentality. So, I don't know. I'm off it. I lean Bills. I want to take Bills here.
I'm off it. Those are the 1 p.m. games. Dan Kelly says Steelers are resting their starters. Bills don't care about this game because they're playing for home field in the second playoff game. Because of COVID, home field doesn't matter. Intex wants to know what the odds are for the Bills to win the AFC. I'll tell you that right now. To win the AFC, the Bills are plus 450. I think the Ravens at plus 650 are the spot. If the Ravens played the Bills right now and the Ravens were like a 2 or 3 point dog, I'd be all over the Ravens. What would you do, Bezzy?
What's that?
If Bills and Ravens were playing in Buffalo for a spot in the conference final and the Bills were 2.5 or 3 point favorites, what bet would you make?
I think I'd take the Bills. I just think hey, man, they have been lights out since they finally got that monkey off their back beating the Pats. And look, I was afraid to do it this week, but, you know, what I said was there one of 2 things is going to happen. They're going to fold, or they're going to take out 2 decades of frustration against the Pats, and that's exactly what they did. They took out 2 decades of frustration and just mauled the Pats. So, I just think the Bills are top to bottom, they might be the best team in the AFC right now.
I would take the Ravens at plus money. Gerald Jones says my line would be Bills -3. I think if you opened up that line, Bills -3, it'd be bet to 2.5. I think people would take the Ravens +3. Intex agreeing with you. Nuke Worker agreeing with you. A lot of guys agreeing with you. I would take the Ravens, and I'm a Bills fan. Okay. Prince. Prince talking about Kawhi being out tonight. That game was capped with Kawhi being doubtful and expected out. So I'm gonna have just a giant. I'm 7-2 in NBA so far to start the year. Small sample size. I'm gonna have a big night tonight. Okay, those are the 1 p.m. games. So let's just quickly go over them here. Lean towards the Cowboys, but we haven't pulled the trigger. And to be honest with you, I don't want them at the 2.5 was the place to get them. I think they win. Do you want to pull the trigger on the Cowboys?
No, I do not.
You pulled the trigger on the Steelers-Browns first half under 22 and -120. I think I'm going to join you on that. It's a bet 365.
How did we get back to the Cowboys?
I'm just reviewing all the 1 p.m. games because we're done them now. You took the Jets first half plus 2.5. I doubled up on the Jets. We stayed off Vikings-Lions. I'm interested in the Matt Ryan prop in that Falcons game. Ravens-Bengals, we stayed off. Dolphins-Bills, we stayed off. And there are your 1 p.m. games. All right.
I'm sorry, MJ. I do want to. I at least said I'd lean Dallas.
You did. Let's move to 425 action right now. Jaguars, Colts is where we start. This is rotation number 103, 104. Colts are 14-point favorites. This total's at 50. Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis, Indiana. Jacksonville Jaguars 1-14, 0-7 on the road. Colts 10-5, 5-2 at home. Jacksonville coming off 41-17 home loss to the Bears to clinch number 1 pick in this year's draft. Jaguars 1-14 to the franchise record by losing their 14th straight game. Locked up the top pick for the first time. They didn't care. In the second half, they allowed 28 straight points. They lost for the 22nd time in their last 25 games. We've seen Coughlin get fired, Caldwell get fired, and Marone's next. Mike Glennon was 24-37 for 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Ogunbowale ran 14 times for 71 yards. I hope Robinson can come back. He's questionable. We all hope he can come back and break that record for undrafted rookies. Wide receiver Colin Johnson is questionable as well. Cornerback Sidney Jones on injured reserve. DJ Shark caught 4 passes for 62 yards. Trevor Lawrence is coming. And we'll see if they can mess this up. Because this franchise, this franchise drafted Byron Leftwich, Blaine Gabbert, Blake Bortles, and took Leonard Fournette over Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. And also doubled down on Gardner Minshew.
It's when you say it all out loud in a row like that, it makes it look really bad.
Really bad. It's horrific. Is there any interest in the Jags plus 14?
Is Glennon or Minshew starting?
Glennon.
I think there might be. They can't possibly lose the Trevor Lawrence pick. They're locked into number 1. So why not play here?
Well, let's talk about the Colts here. Rob Watkins says no. Colts are coming. I'm not interested either, but Colts coming off their 7th straight loss to the Steelers, 28-24 at Pittsburgh. They're up 21-7 at the half. They'd outgained them 206-28, and they were outscored 21-0 over the last 18 minutes. They gained just 1 first down during a 4-possession stretch, while the Steelers ripped off 3 straight touchdowns. I'd be very watching that game. I'd be very concerned to have money on them in a huge game late, or in the 2nd or 3rd round. Rivers was 22-35 for 270 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Zach Pascal caught 3 passes for 64 yards. Jonathan Taylor ran 18 times for 74 yards, cashing Bebsy's prop. Indianapolis just needs to beat Jacksonville. But that's not just, They need a little bit of help. Just a little bit. They need a little bit of help. Safety Kari Willis left Sunday's game against Steelers with a concussion. He's in concussion protocol. Offensive tackle Will Holden sustained an ankle injury. He's listed as questionable. Michael Pittman Jr. is in concussion protocol. Wide receiver Marcus Johnson, offensive tackle Anthony Costanzo remain questionable. Rob Watkins says he'd be interested in the over at 50. Now, the indicator books say it's going to go down to 49.5. Anything for you here, Bebsy?
I mean, I kind of want to take the Jags here, especially with that abysmal second half that we saw from Indy last week. But how do you put money on the Jags at all? Even all those points. It's tempting. Am I crazy to want to take the Jags here?
No.
The Jags did beat Indy in week 1.
I think the fact that the Colts look so bad in the second half is a bad thing if you want the Jags.
Yeah.
I just think that they might be a little angry. So, yeah, Sebastian, Indy needs this. Dan Kelly says they need a lot of help. Nuke Warrior says they need one of Miami, Tennessee, or Cleveland to lose or they are done. Miami could lose.
Yeah, I can't back the Jags in a situation where Indianapolis actually needs the win.
Yeah, it's want nothing to do with it. Now, I can understand the look towards the over. What do you think, Bebsy?
We are sitting at 50?
Yeah, but the indicators say they'll go down to 49.5.
What was the score in week 1 when they played? I realize they're two very different teams from week 1 to now, but
I can pull that up. Oklahoma State nail biter, says Ron Burgundy. It is a nail biter. Don't get me wrong, but I cashed the first half and I cashed the over. So I'm – oh, wait. Please tell me I didn't – okay. In the contest, I got 60.5. What did I get on the – okay, I'm going to stay focused. Okay. I think I agree with this look towards the over. I think points will be scored. Rob Watkins says Indy scores 37.
Thank you. Okay.
What do you think, Bebsy? Any interest in the over?
I can understand why you would have it. I'm not going to jump on it.
Because a 34-6 final score is possible.
Look, if Indy's smart in this, you just play a ground game. Indy score. Rob Watkins says Indy scores 37.
All right. So no move for me in this tricky week 17. Let's move on to Packers-Bears. Packers-Bears next up. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with here. Green Bay opening as 4-point favorites. That's moved to 5.5. The total opened up at 50. It's going up fast, 51.5, 52.5. Soldier Field, Chicago, Illinois, 34 Fahrenheit, mostly sunny, 8 miles per hour. Packers 12-3, 5-2 on the road. Bears 8-7, 3-4 at home. Packers coming off surprisingly easy 40-14 home win over the Titans. I was on them. They've now won 5 straight. Rodgers was 21-25 for 231 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Devontae Adams caught 11 passes for 142 yards, 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns, gave him 17 on the season. That's one off the Packers single-season record held by Sterling Sharp in 94. He leads the NFL with touchdown receptions despite missing 2 games with a hamstring injury. A.J. Dillon, whom we remember running roughshod in Boston College, ran 21 times for 124 yards. Aaron Jones ran 10 times for 94 yards. I had the prop on his over. He does seem a little banged up. Packers were without Jamal Williams due to an injured quad. Offensive tackle Rick Wagner suffered a knee injury. He's listed as questionable. Tight end Jay Sternberger. Guard Simon Stepaniak. Running back Jamal Williams. Safety Will Redmond are all listed as questionable. Bears coming off easy 41-17 win at Jacksonville. They now won 3 straight. The Bears gain control of their postseason path because Arizona lost to San Francisco on Saturday. So the Bears can make the playoffs for the second time in 3 years by beating Green Bay at home this year. Chicago scored 30 or more points for the 4th consecutive week. First time the Bears have accomplished the feat since 1965. Trubisky, 24-35 for 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Montgomery cashed your prop. Bebsy ran 23 times for 95 yards. Allen Robinson caught 10 passes for 103 yards against his former team. I should have been on that prop. Jimmy Graham caught 4 passes for 100. Oh, that's not right. Not 103 yards. But he caught 4 passes for, I believe, like 65 yards and 2 touchdowns. Cornerbacks, Buster Screen, Jalen Johnson, tight end Demetrius Harris, all this is questionable. Rob Watkins says Green Bay wins by home field advantage, right? Because the Seahawks can still take that from them.
The Seahawks can't, but the Saints can. No, the Seahawks can.
It's the Seahawks is what I understand. But so, Bebsy, take it away. Packers, Bears, and Packers 5.5-point road favorites.
Look, I'm more than likely going to go back to the Montgomery well in this one because they just refuse to correct it and just keep leaving it low. And that's what's working for Chicago, and that's why Chicago's on this hot streak. But I just don't know if this comes down to a shootout, which it could very well be. Rodgers owns the Bears for starters. They need this win to lock it up. And Rodgers is also – he wants that MVP. He knows he's now the front runner. He's going to finish strong. I think it's Packers or nothing here. As good as the Bears have been playing, I just don't think they can keep up with Aaron Rodgers. And Devontae Adams is just uncoverable right now. Like, nobody is running smoother routes than that guy. He is just absolutely on fire, and his connection with Rodgers is incredible. I just don't think the Bears can keep up, even with their great defense, even at home. This just feels like the Packers take care of business again.
It does feel that way. It really does. But I'm not. The Bears are dangerous right now. As you said,
the Bears are dangerous because Montgomery was not healthy for a portion of this season, but listen, they figured out the only thing that works right now is smash that ball with Montgomery and let Trubisky make easy passes. Don't let him overthink anything. Just keep it as bare bones as possible for him. Let your defense get rested. And look, they are playing great football, but they haven't played the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers lately, of course. Obviously, they've played them before.
Much love, Real Video. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, this is a no bet for me, but I can understand the Montgomery look.
I think I'm going to take the Packers here.
All right. Let's line shop for you at odds.com. Here we go. Full game, Green Bay Packers. There's a 5 on the board at minus 111. DraftKings. You want it?
Yeah, let's take the 5.
Minus 5, minus 111 at DraftKings, and that is for Bebsy. We have Nutflush Allen and the Nutflush Allen family joining us. Caden, Skylar, Kristen with them. Thank you for the love. Miss you guys so much. Man. Looking forward for this pandemic to go away so that we can all hang out together. Much love to you guys. Thank you for watching. What a sweet, sweet family. That family inspires me to have a bigger family. All right, let's move on to Titans, Texans. That is next up on the docket. Tennessee, Houston. Tennessee opening up a 7-point favorite. That quickly moves to 7.5. We're at Energy Stadium in Houston, Texas. Titans 10-5, 5-2 on the road. Texans 4-11, 2-5 at home. Titans are coming off a disappointing 40-14 loss at Green Bay. Tennessee posted its lowest point total of the season. They squandered their opportunity to clinch the AFC South. They still can clinch it by beating Houston. Tannehill was 11-24, 121 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He didn't like the cold. Derrick Henry ran 23 times for 98 yards. You know, Bebsy, I guess Vrabel doesn't care, but Henry was one off that NFL record by Barry Sanders, held by Barry Sanders, the 100 yards rushing in 10 straight road games. And I truly thought that Vrabel would give him the ball just for those 2 yards. And I know you needed 7 or 8, really, because you had 1 and 5.5. So I don't know if you would have got the 8, but I would have done that if I was coaching him. But
yeah, I understand. I understand the argument both ways. I understand morale-wise, he's more than likely not going to get hurt if you put him in for 1 more carry. But if you put him in and he gets hurt, the city turns on you.
No, absolutely.
So I get both arguments. I really do. The snow killed them in that game because you saw it wasn't until the second half that they had made the adjustments and they started playing better. But you know, I texted this to you mid-game. I should have known better. Like Derrick Henry couldn't plant hard and make his cut. He couldn't make that first hard cut. He was just sort of leaning one way or another. And if he wasn't just going straight forward, he really couldn't get much going. So it wasn't until the second half where he started going a little bit, but it was painful for me to watch.
Absolutely. It was those are tricky. Those very high props. I've never taken a triple digit prop from a running back, but if there was ever a guy to do that with, it would be mighty Derrick Henry. A.J. Brown led the receivers with 4 catches for 42 yards. Titans have given up 100. I don't care about this stat that much. I don't even need, but in their losses, they seem to get killed. 173 points in their 5 losses they've given up. 27 points in each of those. Linebacker Derek Roberson, cornerback Christian Fulton are questionable. Texans are coming off disappointing 37-31 loss at home to the lowly Bengals. 4th straight loss. 3rd time in their past 4 games that the Texans have had a chance to win or tie the game, but have lost on a fumble. Oh, God. My heart goes out to those fans. I have a few of friends down there. Deshaun Watson, 24-33, 324 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, dealing with an arm injury. So Crennel says that he'll play if he's healthy. So he didn't really help us there. He'll probably play. David Johnson ran for 12 times for 128 yards, 1 touchdown. Brandon Cooks caught 7 passes for 141 yards, 1 touchdown. J.J. Watt went on a long rant. Punch that shit up, man. Get a joke in there. Laramie Tunsil injured his foot in the second quarter, didn't return. List is questionable. Whitney Merciless, safety Eric Murray are still on the reserve COVID list. Running back Duke Johnson and cornerback Phillip Gaines are listed as questionable. Titans, Texans, it's a clear bounce back spot for Tennessee. They're now 7.5-point favorites. This total up to 56.5. Any interest for you, Bebsy?
First of all, I want to know if Watson's playing. I don't think he should. I think you're insane to put your franchise quarterback in the game with any sort of injury in Week 17. And Newkirker's, written what I'm about to say-ish. Texans are done. J.J. Watt called the whole team out after the game. The coaching staff is cooked. They're already disconnected. Do they rally behind that, or is it just done? That's my big question. Do they listen to what J.J. Watt said and actually get up and play, or are they just like, yeah, J.J.'s got a point, but fuck this season? So, look, it should be the Titans dominating, and especially, this line's going to move if they do announce that Watson is not playing, because without Watson, they don't have a chance. He's their entire offense. So I almost want to bet it in hopes that they're smart enough to rest Watson.
Yeah. I don't trust them being smart enough to rest Watson.
I don't know. Romeo's got to care about Deshaun Watson and say, Yeah, it should be the Titans' role. Yeah, Slats, I agree.
Yeah, this is another spot that I feel very uncomfortable. This maybe on Wednesday we make a move on it, but
I'm gonna jump on this in hopes that they announce Watson isn't playing and I beat the market move.
okay. Do you want that now?
Yeah, well, yeah, I gotta take it now.
All right, let's get it for you right now. -7.5 at -106 at Resorts.
-7.5.
Rob Watkins likes it. If Watkins
Watkins, good man.
right, it's
Name.
It's definitely double digits. Rob Watkins says smart, Bebsy. Nuke Worker says wait, Bebsy. Do you want to lock that in?
Yeah, I'm gonna lock it in.
All right, Bebsy's on the Titans -7.5, -106 at Resorts Casino.
Sorry, Nuke. Rob Watkins already called me smart, and I love being called smart.
We move on to Saints Panthers. That's next up here for us. Saints open up as 5.5 point favorites. Now they're 6.5 point favorites. The indicator books tell us that it will go to 7. Total opens up at 51. It goes down to 48 or 47.5. Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte, North Carolina, 53 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 6 miles per hour. Saints 11-4, 5-2 on the road. Panthers 5-10, 2-5 at home. Saints coming off a dominant 52-33 victory at home over the Vikings. Kamara rushed 22 times for 155 yards. Tied an NFL record set in 1929 by running for 6 touchdowns in the game. Saints never punted. Set a record of yards gained in a game by a Vikings opponent, 583. Drew Brees, 19-26 for 311 yards. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Manuel Sanders caught 4 passes for 83 yards. Linebacker Quan Alexander hurt his right Achilles. He's on injured reserve. Bye-bye, Quan. That's a big loss. Tight end Josh Hill suffered a hand injury in Friday's 52-33 win. This is questionable. Safety Marcus Williams. Defensive tackle Malcolm Brown. Offensive tackle Andrews Pete. Center Nick Easton. Defensive end Trey Hendrickson are all listed as questionable to go this week. Sorry, everyone congratulating us on the Oklahoma State victory. A gorgeous victory. I mean, triple up. Anybody interested in getting a triple up here? We hit the over. We hit Oklahoma State double up. 3-0. We're murking. But I don't want to talk about it because I feel like it'll go away if I do. Panthers coming off a 2013 win at Washington. Also, Texas up 7-0. Of course, we're on Texas first half and full game, baby. Ooh, hands are leaking. Full. Panthers are coming off a 2013 win at Washington, snapped their 3-game losing streak. Bridgewater was 19-28 for 197 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Curtis Samuel caught 5 passes for 106 yards, ran 7 times for 52 yards. Defensive end Brian Burns is playing hurt and is questionable again this week. Offensive tackle Trent Scott was put on IR with a shoulder injury. Left tackle Trent Scott was already filling in for Russell Okung. So now you have the backup hurt. McCaffrey, Okung, defensive end, Austin Larkin, cornerback Troy Pryor, all listed as questionable. Saints, Panthers, Bebsy, 6.5 point favorites for the Saints. Going to go to 7 soon. Take it away.
Well, I mean, the Saints are still in a position where if Green Bay loses and Seattle loses, they can still get top spots. So you got to figure they're gunning in this one. But at the same time, you know, you got a rookie coach on the other side who's still trying to prove that. I mean, they love Matt Rule. I think he had a successful season in that they won more games than anticipated. They were in more games than anticipated, and they dealt with injuries along the way. So I think his job is obviously safe, but I still think he probably wants to prove himself, and a big win against the Saints at this stage would be huge for them. So they're not going to lay down, and Teddy Bridgewater is not going to lay down against his old team. So this is a really tough spot, I think, for the Saints, especially coming off, the drubbing led by Alvin Kamara and his 50-point fantasy week. So I don't know. This might be a look to fade Alvin Kamara props, but I can't bet on this line right now. It feels like the Saints should cover easily. They're a much better team, rounding into playoff form, and again, still with a chance to take that top seed. But there's something about divisional opponents, big spreads, spoiler spot, everything to me. My gut says upset spot. I still think the Saints win, but I think the Panthers can keep this one close. So I don't want to lay money with the Panthers, but my lean is the Panthers and the points here.
I think you're absolutely right. Let's just ensure and go over what the Saints have to play for here. So they have something to play for. They're 11-4, tied with the Seahawks. Then we have the Packers at 12-3. So they do have something to play for. Again, I still think, and I still believe at this point that you don't want to travel in the playoffs, that you want home field because you don't want to.
And if Drew Brees is your quarterback, you want a first-round break. He still can't be 100% healthy, and
They can't get it. They can't get it.
They can't?
No, if the Packers lose and the Saints win, I thought the Packers didn't the Packers beat the Saints? Heads up, am I tripping out?
It's it doesn't go head-to-head first. It goes divisional record first.
Not strength of schedule? Divisional record?
And then strength of schedule second. Am I wrong?
I thought the Saints can't get there. Yeah, Ron Burns either they can't get first. So, but I'm talking about the second and third seed. And what do you guys think of this? Because I think that people are talking about how there's no home field advantage. I actually think that's wrong now, because this is now extremely important football, and you don't want to travel with COVID out of control. And I know planes are safe, but
I don't know. You're still moving within your bubble. I agree with you to some extent. Let's just say there's less of an influence on it than ever before. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, sure. Ideally, you would not want to travel. If you had my druthers, you come to me. But
yeah,
obviously, for example, Seattle's home field advantage is massive. Nobody can hear their play calls because of that, the acoustics of that stadium. So
I understand that, but I think that this whole there's no home field advantage has been taken a little too far now.
I mean, it really comes down to being able to call audibles, being able to come up to the line, comfortably call audibles. Yeah, travel sucks, but it's not as bad. And look, this is the playoffs. These guys are jumping in.
We love you, Sebastian Cornwell, and you're right. This chat is spectacularly helpful. Okay, so I agree with you, and I agree with you on the Panthers here. I think this makes a lot of sense that the Panthers will make this a tight game, and I think that we wait. I think this moves to 7. The leading indicator books are telling us it's going to move to 7.
Yeah,
I think it's a sharp look. Bebsy. Do you want to make that official for you?
No, I'm going to wait. I'd like it to get to 7 too. And, right now, again, it's my gut saying this, backed by a little bit of logic, but I do like being called smart.
Sure. I get it. I've also taken over the lead in our odds.com playoff pool. I've jumped right over Ragu, the big Ragu, eating my dust. Okay, let's move on. Chargers Chiefs is next. Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri, 38 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 6 miles per hour, 4:25 p.m. Eastern. And I do like the cash more than I like beating Ragu, but feels good. Okay. Chargers are 3.5-point favorites. This total has gone to 44. Only a few books have opened this up because, I mean, do you expect Mahomes to be behind center in this game?
I do. I think they'll probably play Mahomes. He's still he's still in the MVP race. I think he'll want to at least start this game. Maybe Andy is smart enough to not start him. I don't think they should.
The big problem is, Bebsy, and let me hear your take on it. Would you want 2 weeks off? Because they're getting the bye.
I mean, if I was worried about my quarterback, if he was an injury-prone quarterback, if he was an old quarterback, I would absolutely sit him, even for 2 weeks. Let's just say if it's the same situation, Drew Brees is my quarterback, I'm sitting him 100%. With Mahomes, he doesn't take a lot of hits. He's a durable guy. Even when he dislocated his kneecap, what did he miss, a week or two? Like, he's probably going to be fine. And I agree with you. 2 weeks off is as a starting QB, it comes down to timing. And yeah, that's a tough spot. So I do think Mahomes at least starts this game. Whether he finishes it, probably not. But you got to figure he's coming in and getting some snaps.
New Quirker says they want Kelsey to be the yards receiving leader. Don't be surprised if they all go. I would be. I mean, what if someone gets hurt? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think Andy Reid is that kind of guy. I think he's a smart enough coach to say, yeah, it'd be cool if Travis had that record, and yeah, it'd be cool if that distinction. But I think he realizes that Mahomes is in that MVP race, but you got to figure the old coach, the old walrus, has got to be smart.
Okay, let's talk about this a little more because I'm close to moving on to Chargers. Chargers coming off 19-16 win at home over the Broncos. Herbert 21-33, 253 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. And look at Bobby Hooper. Chiefs are frauds. We'll get exposed. Woo! I like that take, Bobby.
I don't know if the Chiefs are frauds, Bobby, but I think the Chiefs are extremely vulnerable in that I think they believe that they're unbeatable. And it shows in the way they play. It shows in the fact that they let bad teams stick around in games they have no business sticking around in. And I do think that makes them extremely vulnerable. Frauds, they're not frauds. They're Super Bowl champions. They're a fantastic football team. But I do think they are very vulnerable.
I think the Ravens can go all the way through the playoffs.
You're bullish on the Ravens tonight there, Jim.
I have not bet them. Let me make that clear. But
the Ravens got to prove to me they can win in the playoffs. And to be honest with you, with Greg Roman as their offensive coordinator, I have no faith in them.
No, it's fair.
I think the Bills are the most talented team, maybe in all of football right now. They talented team, top to bottom right now.
Wow.
They have a fantastic defense. Their offense is balling out. Who is as balanced as they are?
Wow. Okay. Marlon Z says Herbert props, fellas. Let's talk about Justin Herbert for a minute. Nick B, I have no futures. No futures. I kind of started pumping the brakes on futures. I mean, I track every bet I make, and I was looking at my ROI for the last little while. And, not since the Penguins won the Cup and I had to sit through the most nerve-wracking 7th game of overtime against the Senators have I had an enormous score. off of props. So I pumped the brakes on them. And it's, when you have a local, you don't need, you're not sitting there, with like, $2 to $5 grand or whatever it is held. You can go on credit. So that's not doing it. I'm just, Bled says I'm ready for hockey. There will be, I have to bet on the Colorado Avalanche, even though the odds aren't very good. But I have to bet them. And I'll make a small bets on the Canucks and the Hurricanes. Okay, let's talk about Herbert for a second. He set the mark for most rookie touchdown passes in the season. He also became the fourth player to throw for over 4,000 yards as a rookie, joining Andrew Luck, Cam Newton, and Jameis Winston. He also needs 6 completions to surpass the 379 that Carson Wentz had for Philly in 2016. Austin Eckler ran 10 times for 45 yards. Mike Williams caught 4 passes for 54 yards. Keenan Allen remains out of the lineup. This is a situation right now for the Chargers. Rashawn Jenkins' ankle and Brian Bulaga got hurt, did not return. Cornerback Casey Hayward didn't play during the second half. Linebacker Kenneth Murray was evaluated. He's in concussion protocol. He did come back. He did return, but he's in concussion protocol. Keenan Allen was inactive for the first time since 2016. He tried to get through warmups. I'm going to go over their – I'm going to go over everything again with their injury report. But this is the kind of spot that I've lost money on in the past. Making predictions of what coaches are going to do in Week 17. But it feels like the Chargers would like to finish off with a win against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs shouldn't care. Right?
Correct. However, I wonder if it's worth waiting to see if this gets to a 3.
Chiefs are coming off a tough 17-14 win. I think the information we're going to get is all not good for the Chiefs. Chiefs coming off a tough 17-14 win at home over the Falcons, clinched number 1 seed. Patrick Mahomes, 24 of 44 for 278 yards, 1 interception. Darrell Williams ran 10 times for 46 yards. Le'Veon Bell went 9-5. 2 losses were because of Le'Veon Bell. Ran 7 times for 30 yards. Travis Kelce led receivers, 7 catches for 98 yards, 1 touchdown. He was wincing. You see this prima donna? This guy is a thespian out there. Needs tights and black boxes. He was just histrionics with every catch. Go back to your television show. It was too much. It was so dramatic. I think that the Chiefs rest their starters, but I don't know if you want 2 full weeks off. I still don't know. So let's talk about the Chiefs. They're already without Anthony Hitchens because of COVID-19 protocols. Damian Wilson because of a knee injury. The backup, Ben Neiman, went down with a hamstring injury. That left them with backups, Willie Gay and Darius Hay. Running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire inactive because of an ankle injury. Sammy Watkins got a calf injury. Would you be playing these guys?
No, I think you got to be smart and give them the rest. But, 2 weeks off for a quarterback, I think, is bigger than just resting injured guys. Like these guys got to get healthy.
Mintech says the guy's making $500 million, not playing much of it all. All right. Chargers -3.5 and Herbert props. I think he wants to smash these records.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think that Herbert props would probably be a good look come Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to move on the Chargers. I think that all the news that we're going to come out of Kansas City will be don't play anybody. Sebastian wanting to know what the total is. It's at 44, Bebsy. Even that, I don't want to move on. What do you think when I tell you that the total's at 44?
I mean, I think over just because I believe in Herbert's ability to put up points. And with it being that low, I mean, even if you get a quarter out of Mahomes, it should be enough to propel that over. But again, it's kind of a wait and see. When are they going to announce whether or not Mahomes is starting or not?
All right.
When Mahomes went down last year, they still played good football.
Yeah, with the ankle injury?
Yeah, with the knee dislocation.
Seattle Seahawks, San Francisco 49ers is next up. Let's break this down here. Seattle opening up as 4-point favorites. That moves to 5.5 and 6. This total opens up at 47.5. It drops down to 46. Seahawks 11-4, 4-3 on the road at the Niners, 6-9-1-6 at home. State Farm Stadium, Glendale, Arizona. Seahawks are coming off a big 29 home win over the Rams. The Seahawks claim the NFC West title. First division title since 2016 for Seattle. Fifth since Pete Carroll took over in 2010. They held LA to a season low in points. This defense keeps getting better and better. Wilson was 20 of 32 for 225 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. DK Metcalf caught 6 passes for 59 yards. Chris Carson ran 16 times for 69 yards. Jason Myers keeps rolling. 45 and 49-yard field goals in the first half. He's made 33 straight. Trey Flowers is expected to practice their cornerback in full this week. Probably want to give him a few reps, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I would. But he's available. Demarius Randall, Mike Upati, DJ Dallas, safety guard, running back are all questionable, just like last week when they were inactive. And then Jason Stanley suffered a hamstring injury, their cornerback. But if Trey Flowers comes back, who cares? Gerald Jones says, like this, Seattle, San Francisco under 7 straight. Niners are coming off 2012 win at Arizona. Beathard was 13 and 22 for 182 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Beathard was making his first start since 2018, was 1-9 as a starting quarterback. George Kittle returned. Caught 4 passes for 92 yards. Jeff Wilson was a machine. 22 rushes for 183 yards. He was spectacular. Bebsy, you are keep such close tabs on this football team. What do you know about player personnel changes for this final week? And do you have any interest in backing San Francisco as a big dog?
No, I think it's Seattle or no play, to be honest with you, especially because they've announced that Brandon Ayuk is out. In addition to that, Trent Williams is out. I wonder the severity of their injuries so much as it let's not put these guys in. Jimmy Garoppolo is not playing. They've all but said it's a guarantee that CJ Beathard will start. And Seattle needs this win. San Francisco just, got a nice win against Arizona. A good team win. Their defense balled out. I think I agree with Gerald Jones. The best play here is under. The Niners defense has been playing great football, even with all the injuries. Robert Saleh is still showcasing his skills for a job outside. He's going to get a head coaching job, and they're still really pretty much the same as they were last week on defense. K'Wan Williams, I think, is a question mark, which is huge. He's such an important piece of that. But Sherman's not playing. He's barely played all season, though. Tart isn't playing. He's been out for a long time. But I think San Francisco's defense can slow them down. I'm going to look at Russell Wilson's rush props because he always gives the Niners fits. And also, they don't have somebody who can cover DK Metcalf. So I'm going to stare at the DK Metcalf props. But for me right now, lean Seattle. Won't take it just because these teams end up playing very tight all the time. But I do like this under.
The under. So Packers are playing at the same time, so they won't know whether you do like this under. Is it time to line shop, or do you want to sit on this?
No, I think I'm going to take this.
All right. We are moving towards the full game total here in Niners Seahawks. Sitting, it's quite high, man. 46.5 at FanDuel minus 105 is your best look.
I'm going to take that.
Makes a lot of sense.
The Niners, other than George Kittle, are out all their primary weapons. They don't have Debo. They don't have Mostert. They don't have Ayuk. They're going to be running probably a lot of 2 tight end sets, or they might just line up Jordan Reed at receiver this week because they got nobody. They got Richie James and Kendrick Bourne are going to be their starting receivers. So you can't expect a ton of points with CJ Beathard and no receivers. even though CJ played admirably last week.
I didn't know about the story about his brother being stabbed. Did you know all about that story? I didn't know about it.
I did. It was quite heavily publicized a year ago within the San Francisco circles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess a year to the same week that he was killed last year. So
yeah, I didn't. I was just learning about that story in the last couple of days. I'm going to roll with you here on this total. I think it makes a lot of sense. Does the fact that they're playing indoors give you any added nervousness?
not really.
Huh.
Neither one of these teams are indoor teams. It's not like you're betting on Matt Ryan or Drew Brees here.
No, I agree. Okay, I'm going to roll with you on this under.
And I will say, and we can talk about this when these lines come out again. But then the Niners, the way they attack on defense, they really struggle against rushing quarterbacks. So I hit the Murray prop last week because of that. And I'm going to look at the Russell Wilson rush prop because that's what he does. He gets pressure and he escapes and he puts up yards against San Francisco. It's frustrating as hell as a fan, but if you're betting and you know that's coming, you're going to throw it. And look, DK Metcalf ate them up last time. They do not have a corner who's big and physical to cover him. So, with Sherman out, you're looking at him being, I don't know if Verrett's going to shadow him, but Verrett's great, but he's just not big enough to cover DK Metcalf. So that's a prop. If it's reasonable, I'm going to look there too.
And he's coming off another. He would have hit the under on his prop against Ramsey last week. Okay, we move on. We move on to Cardinals. LA Rams is next up on the docket. Let me get this all up and add them. Okay. We're at SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California. Cardinals, Rams. Cardinals 8-7, 4-3 on the road. At Rams 9-6, 5-2 at home. And we have a. Here we go. Excuse me. Rams are 1-point favorites at some books. They're telling me some books have it at 4. God, week 17 is so crazy. Let's just see exactly what it is here at Bet 365. Rams are 1-point favorites. 1-point favorites. Okay. Arizona coming off 2012 loss at home to San Francisco. Kyler Murray was 31-50 for 247 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. He also ran 8 times for 75 yards and was hurt on the final offensive play of the game. Trainers were looking at his right leg. I don't know what the story is.
He got smacked. He got smacked real hard on the last play of the game.
But they can still get in. And they'll know if the Bears have lost. Oh, no, that game's going on at the same time.
But they're also playing a team that needs to win to get in.
Mm-hmm. Tricky.
And also, Goff is out, is he not?
No, he's not officially out by any means. He has a dislocated right thumb, but he put it back into place and didn't miss a play, and he's questionable. But the fact that he put it immediately into place makes it sound like this is something that's happened before. It's just like, the guys, like my shoulder pops in and out. You kind of know how to deal with it. So I think that this is something that's happened to his thumb.
Yeah, and I agree that with Sebastian that I don't know how much Goff being out hurts the Rams. It's not like Goff has been helping the Rams. That interception he threw last week was abysmal. No one was around. And I'm with Alvin Smith, I agree with you. I don't believe in Arizona at all. I said at the beginning of the year they were frauds when everyone was hot on these guys, and look, they just lost to a shell of a Niners team in a must-win situation for them. So I would be heavy on the Rams right now if it weren't for the fact that that Cooper Kupp came down with COVID.
You guys are right. Sorry, you're right, Bebsy. He's not playing.
Yeah. So that combined with the fact that Cooper Kupp is out, announced COVID today, and we've seen, how many times have we seen these guys with COVID, and it's the snowball effect of anybody who's now been in contact with Kupp is going to be out too. So you wonder who's going to be rolling out there from that, wide receiver room. So it's a tough spot.
John Wolford. Jesus.
I mean, I'm not a Goff fan. I think Goff is a liability. Game manager at best, but who the fuck is this guy?
He had nice numbers on the hot shots, on the Arizona hot shots.
Oh, well, that means something. I don't know what, but it's something.
Wow, and that news came out 13 hours ago that the surgery. So I should have.
And I've heard that Kyler Murray won't play.
Wow. Okay, well, let's talk about some more injuries. Hassan Reddick, hamstring. He leads the team with 12.5 sacks. He left the game in the first quarter, came back in the second quarter, but it's an issue. Running back Chase Edmonds, hip, left the game, didn't return. Tight end Dan Arnold left the game with a concussion. Wow. Sebastian Cornwall says Wofford played good in college. Ron Burgundy says Kupp has COVID. I do not have that information.
Yeah, it was announced today. Kupp has COVID.
Oh my God. Sorry, I am getting a lot of information last minute. Wow. Reserve COVID list. What a mess. Well, okay. Let's. Princess C said Bucks up by 49. I mean, NBA is so situational. Beautiful. Okay, let's just wait and hammer this on Sunday.
Yeah. It's I don't know how you make a bet other than the under with all this going on, because it appears at least the Rams' defense is healthy.
And it's still on the board.
Ooh.
39.5.
Yeah. Let's wait till Sunday, shall we?
Let's wait till Sunday. All right. Let's move on to the Sunday nighter. And this game will have meaning regardless, because somebody has to win. I guess the Cowboys and Giants could tie. And if they okay, let's just focus on this. Okay, Washington Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And let's see what we are dealing with here from a market perspective. Philadelphia opens up as 1-point favorites. That goes away quickly. Now Washington is 1.5 or 2-point favorites. 39 Fahrenheit, chance of showers, 8 miles per hour. Washington coming off 2013 loss at home that stopped them from clinching the NFC East. Dwayne Haskins was 14-28 for 154 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was replaced by Taylor Heineke. Heineke was 12-19 for 137 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. He hadn't played since 2018. He was signed to the practice squad less than 3 weeks ago. And I hope you realize, Dwayne Haskins, who your football team wanted under center over you. Taylor Heineke. J.D. McIsaac caught 8 passes for 77 yards, and that's not going to change because Terry McLaurin has this nagging ankle injury, and he's listed as doubtful. Antonio Gibson ran 10 times for 61 yards. Alvin Smith saying Alex Smith is out. Sebastian Cornwall says if Alex Smith can play a full game, Washington better coaching, better players. Washington can still win this division with this win here. Chase Young looked excellent in his first game, replacing Haskins as captain. Bridgewater forced him on a fumble. That was in Washington territory early in the third quarter to prevent Carolina from scoring. Alex Smith, Kevin Pierre-Louis, Thomas Davis Jr., all this is questionable. Eagles coming off an ugly 37-17 loss at Dallas. Their defense was shredded for 513 yards. They've allowed 500-plus yards for 2 straight weeks. I wonder if we're going to get that Jamarcus Russell pick of Dwayne Haskins in a couple of years. Just, obese, sitting in front of some fast food.
Man, it looks like no one has any interest in this guy. It looks like the work ethic that this guy has is already spread around the league. Normally, when you see a guy that high drafted, even when he burns out quickly, somebody will take a flyer on him. But it really doesn't feel like anybody wants to touch Dwayne Haskins right now. So, yeah, we could very well see that, morbidly obese picture of him just sitting on a couch, high, eating chips, and just be like, still got millions of dollars.
It's wild. What a wild. Okay.
He will be on 30 for 30 with Ryan Leaf. Good chance. There's a good chance. Fucking poor Ryan Leaf and Jamarcus Russell.
Prince of the City says, great show, under 2 hours. Thank you. Almost done here. Jalen Hurts, 21 to 39, 342 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He also ran 9 times for 69 yards, fumbled the ball twice, losing one of them. One of the things that's happening here, Prince, is that there's no chasing going on here. I've been eating all month long, cashing and cashing and cashing. Hurts has 238 yards rushing in 3 starts. Eagles led 14-3 in the first quarter. Deshaun Jackson had the 81-yard touchdown catch. And they fell apart. Absolutely fell apart. They got rookies. They have undrafted rookie at corner. He gave up 7 catches for 182 yards and 2 touchdowns. Fletcher Cox, questionable with a neck injury, left in the first quarter, didn't return. He's questionable to play this week. Linebacker Sean Bradley suffered a stinger. Tight end Dallas Goedert is dealing with a calf injury. Offensive tackle Jordan Mailata is in concussion protocol. Linebacker Duke Riley, tight end Richard Rodgers, and defensive end Derek Barnett remain questionable. Cornerback Kevin Seymour, knee. Defensive end Josh Sweat were placed on injured reserve. Prince of the City, not this year. No, I made no future bets this year. Nothing. Bebsy, the biggest game of the night and a very interesting way to close out this COVID regular season. Washington, Philadelphia Eagles. Take it away.
I mean, I'm not going to make the same mistake I did last week and bet Washington in hopes that Alex Smith would play. I can't bet on this game with Heineke at quarterback. Or not knowing. Look, if it was Alex Smith right now, I'd be hammering Washington. I believe in that team with Alex Smith at the helm. I said on the Sunday show that I was still comfortable with Haskins in there. I wasn't. I was trying to put on a brave face because I had to back my play or bet the other side. I didn't want to do it. I don't want to shit on Haskins either. I do feel bad for the guy. So I can't, Jimmy, I can't bet this until Sunday, until I know who's playing. If Alex Smith is in and the line doesn't move that much, I'm going to take Washington. But right now it's Washington or no play. I can't put any stock in the Eagles, especially with the way their defense played last week against Dallas. Just an abysmal performance. They are playing better with Hurts. I think that team believes in Hurts. I think they're going to have an interesting offseason because Wentz's contract is – you can't move him. He costs way too much. So that's going to be a real – like the Eagles are fucked for a long time to come because of that situation. He has so much money guaranteed on that contract. They can't do anything. I know Haskins sucks and he's loaded and all that stuff, but this kid, I mean, look, he probably never had any money, and then he got a whole bunch of money and fucked up with it. I just hope he's, Jimmy and I are joking about that picture of Jamarcus Russell, but I don't want to see anybody's life fall apart. I don't think he's a bad person. I think he just didn't work hard. Fuck off.
Washington, Philadelphia Eagles. I agree. I think we should wait and see what's going on with Alex Smith and then make a decision. The market is telling us that Alex Smith will be playing in this game. So, Okay, no move for us at this point. Slats, what a guy. Says you guys always say the show is impossible without the chat. That is true. But in the worst year of our lives, you've brought us together. Much needed relief. Much love, Slats. Congratulations on your giant Survivor Pool victory. We win on the same year. That's my first ever Survivor Pool win, too. I love it. Christian Larson says Haskin needs a mentor. He does. Yeah, he does. Okay, Bebsy, that is our entire card and our shortest show of the year. Let's review action. Cowboys. We come back to the Cowboys again. I don't think I want them. I don't know if I trust them. If I could get 2.5, I'd probably take them.
Yeah, I can't pull a trigger on them. I'm actually amazed that I have 5 bets on this card today. I really thought it would be a hard, slow play until Sunday.
Oh no, Prince, are you serious? Oh, no. I'm with you on the first half under 22, minus 120, bet 365 for Steelers Browns. I doubled up on the Jets. You only came in for the first half. I got plus 2.5 and plus 3. You came in on the plus 2.5. Nothing for Vikings Lions. I'm going to ask you best bet here in a second, Bebsy. Matt Ryan props I'm interested in when they come available. Nothing on Ravens Bengals. And I can understand. I think I'm going to make some moves on the Ravens. I've got to figure it out. But I think I'm going to make some moves, futures on them. I believe in this football team. Dolphins, Bills, no moves. Jaguars, Colts, no moves. Packers, Bebsy, you took the Packers minus 5 and minus 111. Interesting move. You took the Titans minus 7.5 and minus 106. I like the Panthers too. I think your breakdown was very shrewd, very sharp, but I'm going to wait, see what kind of number I can get. This is perfect. I finally am comfortable here. I haven't done too much. Okay, I am moving on the Chargers minus 3.5. Then you moved on the under 46.5 in Seattle, San Francisco, and I agree with you. So that'll be something that I'll be tailing this evening. And then nothing for Raiders. Why do I feel like we didn't break down Raiders Broncos?
Because we didn't.
Oh, my God.
How did we miss that game?
How did we miss it? Okay. Raiders Broncos. Let's get into it right now. And thank God we did this review. Broncos open up as 1.5-point favorites. Now the Raiders are 2.5-point favorites. We're at Empower Field at Mile High, Denver, Colorado. Raiders 7-8, 5-2 on the road. Broncos 5-10, 2-5 at home. 47 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 6 miles per hour. Raiders coming off a disappointing 26-25 loss at home to the Dolphins. Eliminated with their 5th loss in 6 games. Will be out of the postseason for the 17th time in 18 seasons. John Gruden chose to run down the clock. It was wild. It was absolutely, and I guess we were talking about this during the Dolphins game, and I said I'd love to see the percentages. I haven't seen the percentages, but they were gifting them the touchdown, and they thought it was more important to give them the fewest amount of time on the clock. When we've seen kickers hit 50 and 55-yard, 60-yard field goals, it's a very questionable decision, and I love when things blow up in Gruden's face. Derek Carr came back from a hamstring injury, went 21-34 for 336 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Nelson Aguilar caught 5 passes for 155 yards, and the Darren Waller show just keeps on going. 5 catches for 112 yards, gives him 1,079 yards on the season, second straight 1,000-yard campaign. The only other Raiders tight end with 1,000 yards is Todd Christensen. Takes us back to our old football cards. He did it 3 times, by the way. Josh Jacobs ran 13 times for 69 yards. Raiders were 6-3, including a win in Kansas City over defending Super Bowl champions, and they don't get into the playoffs. Wow. Raiders haven't made the playoffs since Gruden came back to coach. The Raiders are now 6-14 from Week 11 through the end of the season. Defensive end Cleveland Farrell doubtful to play. Guard Denzel Good left the game with an ankle injury. Broncos coming off 19-16 loss at the Chargers. Drew Lock was 24-47 for 264 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Deshaun Hamilton caught 5 passes for 77 yards. Melvin Gordon ran 16 times for 79 yards. KJ Hamler suffered a concussion, did not return. And let's see if there's anything else that I missed here because I didn't get to the whole injury report for Denver. So Bradley Chubb remains questionable. Philip Lindsay on injury reserve, so nothing. Bebsy, any interest in this game?
Not really. I mean, it's two bad teams, a meaningless game. One coach who is likely going to be a high priority signing as a D coordinator in the offseason, although some people have indicated that he might be back in Denver next year. The other coach is locked in for another 7 years at $70 million, so Gruden's not going anywhere. Really, it's just going to be guys auditioning to make sure that they still have an NFL career as players. But there's no look for me in this game. I've hit Waller props a bunch this year, so I'm going to look at what it's set at out of curiosity. But, yeah, I'm going to peruse the possible props in this one, but definitely not betting the line here.
Yeah, this is I wanted to have as little action on this card as possible, and now I'm going to have about 5 or 6 bets. I did the only bet I've already made. I doubled up on the Jets first half full game. Bebsy, spectacular work. Let's go to best bet on this card. For me, it's the New York Jets +3 -105. What's your best bet?
I mean, I do really like my Jets first half because the Jets have they week after week they keep scoring on the first drive, and yeah, they're oddly fired up in a weird way right now, and going against a Pats team that just seems beyond deflated. So I'm with you. I like that look.
Alrighty, thank you guys so much for rolling with us. Big shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Tony Moon questioning our look on the Jets. I get it, but it's the look I believe in the most here. Thank you guys so much. Week 17. We've 17 weeks of breakdowns, and it's just you guys that inspire us and make us laugh and give us important insights. Thank you so much for all of it. WTF, Tony Moan, Sebastian Cornwell, Prince of the City, Mark Rosado, Slats45, who just won his Survivor pool. We both did. So nice. Ron Burgundy, Bleds W, Buck Nasty, Don Pham. Thank you guys all so much for your support, your insights. Let's get paid in full. Bebsy, you are going to finish the year in a nice spot here. You are 88 and 73, 54.7%, up 4.12 units, ROI plus 2.56%. Great job. Let's add to that this week. Any last words?
I don't know, not too much. I know we say it all the time about the chat. But this is, Jimmy knows I've been doing this behind the scenes for years and years and obsessed with football. But my first time doing this in front of the camera and having fun. And really, this chat truly does make it. I tail some picks from you guys. You make me laugh. You infuriate me sometimes as well. But I love this chat, and this is, this week 17. This will be closing out my first year doing this, and it's been an absolute blast, mostly because of you guys. I talk to Jimmy anyways, so thank you guys so much, and we'll see you Sunday, hopefully, and let's get paid on Sunday.
Let's do it. Let's absolutely do it. World is really upside down. Jets best bet. Happy New Year's, you guys. The end of a very tough year for all of us. And, the cycle of life, the light after the dark. We all know about the story of the roaring 20s, the last time there was a pandemic. So let's, cup is half full. And let's go into 2021 full of cash. I'm making that cash tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. On behalf of all of us at odds.com, Rob Bebenek and myself, thank you. Let's get paid in full and Happy New Year's.